The coalition is facing some sobering polling numbers this morning as it tries to sell its message on economic recovery. The latest Newspoll shows support for the coalition has fallen to the lowest level since 2018. And for the first time, voters have said Opposition Leader Anthony Albanese would be the better person to lead Australia out of the pandemic. Political reporter Noor Hayder joins us now from Parliament House in Canberra. Noor, g'day. So take us through the details of this polling.
Good morning, Joe. Well, support for the federal coalition has dropped to its lowest level since the 2018 Liberal Party leadership spill. That's according to the latest Newspoll published in the Australian newspaper today, following a summer dominated by Omicron and, headaches over rapid antigen test supply shortages and food supply shortages. On a two-party preferred basis, Newspoll puts Labor on a margin ahead on a margin of 56 to 44. The poll also indicates that the coalition's primary support has dropped by 2 points to 34. That's behind Labor's 41. As a preferred Prime Minister, Labor's Anthony Albanese has also narrowed the margin between himself and Scott Morrison, with just 2 points separating them. For the first time, voters also indicated that they believe Labor is better placed to steer the nation out of the COVID-19 pandemic. With Parliament resuming next week and, of course, a federal election looming, this polling will likely unnerve some within the coalition, whilst also giving, a confidence boost to those within Labor. The Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg, insists that Scott Morrison will be taking the coalition to the election. He says that the polling, in his view, reflects the frustrations that many Australians experienced over the summer, but he says a lot can change between now and the election. Take a listen.
Polls will come and go, and we know that there is still a number of months to the next election, and the Australian people will make their decision then and there after what will be no doubt a hard-fought campaign. But many political obituaries were written ahead of the 2019 election, and many false prophecies were made by those in the media, dare I say it, and our political opponents, and they turned out to be wrong. So no one should get ahead of themselves.
And Noor, what's the latest on the amount of savings that people have been able to build up through the pandemic, if they've been lucky enough to keep their jobs, and what are the government hopes on what's going to happen with those savings?
Yeah, well, Australian businesses and individuals have accumulated more than $400 billion since the start of the pandemic. That's according to new data from the prudential regulator APRA, and it shows that households have saved $240 billion. Businesses have saved just over $180 billion since the start of 2020. The federal government is hoping that Australians will use those savings to help, the economic recovery over the coming year. Josh Frydenberg argues that data is further evidence that Australia's economy is strong and that Australians can return to work without the need for emergency federal government support. Now, he's also responded to criticism from the New South Wales State Treasurer, Matt Keane. Yesterday, he criticised the federal government for not contributing to this $1 billion business support program that the New South Wales government announced yesterday. Mr. Frydenberg says that the federal government has spent $63 billion in New South Wales since the start of the pandemic, and he says he can't keep handing out cheques. Joe?
Okay, Noor Hayder reporting there from Canberra.